hello everyone. Now this video is going to be on laying foundations for spiritual work. Now after having taught this information for over 3 decades, what I've noticed is there's certain characteristics within people's lifestyles that generate success, and there are certain characteristics within people's lifestyles which generate delusion with partial success. And then of course we have the other people who fail dismally. Now I'll go through some of the key factors in the lifestyle. The first key to success is their ethics. And at first you think, what has ethics got to do with success in Qigong and spiritual work? Well, people who generate an unethical karma around themselves tend to create a static in their field, in their astral body, because of that karma that doesn't let them have high quality practice. They're essentially going to be in a state of searching rather than a state of being. So this, oddly enough, this open heart to give people greater value than you take, and it's a simple equation. Someone attends, if you're a teacher and someone attends your workshop, they pay a certain amount of money for that workshop. You want to ensure that they got really good value for the money they spent and the hours and their time and effort they put into the practice. That they'll go away and their life will be enriched to a larger amount than that monetary value. So this is just simple alchemy. That if your ethics statement says you're always going to give people greater value than what they pay, then the universe is always going to be open to expansion in your mental, astral, and physical body. You're going to find that people will speak well about you. You'll find it easy to attract students. Any other business dealings that you're in, people will trust you. And this makes a very calm, quiet heart that leads to high quality practice. Now, if let's say you're hiding what you're meant to be teaching from people, you're going to take a lot of negativity. You're going to be suffering a lot of turmoil, and your life is basically going to suck as a spiritual teacher. And it's quite obvious with many of the spiritual teachers out there that are hiding things. They're very delusional in what they're doing. They're searching for something that they can't find. It's because their heart's closed, so they can't find it. So this ethics statement is super important. Now the next aspect is simply cleaning up the lifestyle, identifying what robs your time and what gives you time. All the things that are robbing your time, smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol, bad lifestyle habits, sexual fetishes, that's time that you can't get back. If everything you do is spiritual practice, so if let's say you smoke cigarettes, you draw light through you, and through the mindful act of smoking that cigarette, you'll find that just the act of doing that, you get some growth out of it, and your body consciousness and your spirit has a higher mastery over the act of smoking, and you may just simply give up smoking with a lot less effort than someone who is fighting that behavior. And this will go into anything that you're doing. Mindful focus on an activity that is a hindrance will put your spirit in a state of mastery over the hindrance and dissolve it. So here we're really looking at knowing what's preventing you from achieving success, what hinders your willpower, and what strengthens your willpower, what brings you close to success. And time management is a very, very important one. If something's taking away your time, well, you're 2 steps back before you can move 1 step forward. Alright, so the next thing after the ethics and cleaning up the lifestyle is the search for truth. Now, obviously spiritual development is really about truth, about knowing the nature of reality and experiencing truth. And as such, the way that you speak, the way that you think, the way that you feel, the way you know yourself, you have to be really truthful with yourself and expose your weaknesses to yourself very clearly identify, this is where I'm strong, this is where I'm weak, and allow no place in your personality to be hidden. We all have these skeletons in the closet, these shadows in our behavior. Know them really well, because if you know them really well, you're halfway to dissolving them. So it's a huge benefit for your spiritual growth and the speed of your development to do this. Now, the next aspect that we want to look at is the way you schedule your lifestyle to practice. People who say, I'll just go with the flow, are generally not going to succeed. Well, because the flow is controlled by currents of your environment and group consciousness and other people and so forth. So that doesn't lead to the place you want. As a beginner, you want to schedule your practice, generate really good habits, and then once you've established those really good habits, then as you deschedule your practice life, your passion for practice becomes a driver, and you'll find yourself always wanting to climb more mountains and spend more time in nature practicing and see more green and less concrete. And you'll unconsciously, from the body consciousness level, from the spirit level, be getting pulled into the passion of practice. But this doesn't happen until the spirit senses start being active. So activating the spirit senses, something as simple as vital breathing all day, stimulates the spirit senses, and then the passion arises by itself. So you move from scheduled practice to descheduled practice. It's only when you're following cosmic flow through a lot of Akasha work that you find following the flow actually works. If you're caught in a physical life and you smoke pot and you're going along with the flow, it's not going to a very high place, I can assure you. Alright, so the next aspect after scheduling is causation chains. People who journal really well and define the causation chain that gets them to their goal. So let's say a person says, well, my goal is to master vital breathing. I want to be master of vital energy. So then you're going to define what allows you to feel vital energy, what allows you to increase the amount of vital energy, what are the exercises that take you there, and you generate a causation chain. And once you've looked at the various mechanisms of qualitative releasing, quantitative power generation, and so forth, you automatically get a sense of this is what I have to do, this is a causation chain. And as you develop your causation chains, you're always refining them. So your ability to do this has a huge impact on success and failure. So journaling, your methodology, and seeing how it causes the results. Each time you do a causation chain that defines the result, guess what happens? You are unconsciously aligning to putting information together more efficiently to fulfill your goals. This requires journaling. Okay, the next foundation exercise or principle you want to work with is defining what spiritual development means to you. Where are you going with it? If you're Buddhist, Nibbana is the goal, and Nibbana is the release of attachment, aversion, delusion. So methods of release are the essence of Buddhism. If you want to get to Nibbana, every doctrine that you read is frame through a filter, how does this help me release? What do precepts do for release? What do 10 perfections do for release? What do the energies of these sutras do for release? I do the morning service and this light forms on the altar and with the people in the morning service. How do I carry that light through the day to release? So all your psychology and alchemy is all about that one concept of release. If you're a hermeticist, that'll play a big part, because you can't even concentrate an object without releasing everything else. So you've got to release before you concentrate, before you tune into something, and the more released you are, the more you can tune in. So releasing is also the fabric and essence of hermetics. You can't do anything in hermetics without understanding release. It's simply that important. Now you'll also find that hermetics is more of a path of service than it's not just a path of ascension. When you're following this hermetic path, you're much more concentrated on benefiting others and benefiting yourself, even though the practices that you're doing are about you. But they're clearly connecting to others. So if you just look at the very, very basics of being a healer, you create vows of doing healing for the benefit of others, and by doing so, your practice of healing techniques gets better. If you're a teacher, your vow is to teach and practice all you need to teach for the benefit of your students to become a better teacher. And this creates a field effect which connects your mind, your energy, to a much larger space, which allows for expansion, growth, and for ascension mechanism to function. So be very, very clear on what your goals are. Now, as you go through this process of going, okay, this is where I want to go, this is what my spiritual system is all about, then you're putting yourself inside the four-wheel drive. Then you're putting yourself in a place of now I can get to my destination because I know where it is. And you'll be very, very surprised that most people who are studying hermetics don't know what the destination is. It's the unification of consciousness with the universal mind, with God consciousness. And to recognize that within the essence of your own spirit, and all the practices lead to that. And how differently do you practice when you understand that from day one? Everything is sacred. Everything's communing with the divine. So your whole framework of thinking will automatically shift to every exercise as a form of prayer and unity with universal mind, with God. Now, if you're a Buddhist and you know that the essence of Nibbana is release, and you frame everything you learn around release, how you practice Buddhism totally changes. What do we know about prayer is when you enter into a state of prayer, everything, you generate a form of humility, everything becomes quiet, and everything releases. So you combine the essence of prayer and unity with universal consciousness from Hermetics and the principles of release from Buddhism. And you're empowered to generate huge successes very, very, very quickly. Okay, the next aspect of laying foundations is monitoring your progress. Now, we talked a little bit about this before, but each exercise you do when you're moving from one state to another, you want to chart how strong your concentration is. You want to chart how mindful you are. You want to chart out exactly what your growth rates are and what's affecting them. This way you can determine and find hindrances very, very easily. You might find that when you eat white bread, your mind is a bit dull. And when you have a particular spice on your food, your mind is very sharp. And these types of things, like having a green juice, I found kale juice before meditation really sharpens my mind. I have a much higher state of alertness with a glass of kale juice. So you'll find that there are things that will affect your physiology, that will affect your mind, your body, that will be like a very powerful amplifier for you to get results. Now, on your spiritual journey, you're going to find that there's certain people which are amplifiers. When you're around those people, you simply get better results. You're going to find certain places are amplifiers that you're going to get better results. And you have to write these things down, because guess what? If you don't, you're going to forget. And then you have to chart your progress utilizing those tools, those places, those people. Some people just lighting a candle and a stick of incense in a meditation room and having a starting prayer amplifies their quality of practice substantially. So what are these little rituals, these little triggers that create a faster development? Once you've defined them, act them out, and your growth rate will amplify. The next thing to look at for speeding up your progress and laying a good foundation is remember where you came from and where you're going to. This is important. Remembering where you came from and where you're going to. You need contrast in your experience. When you contrast your lifestyle before you started practice and how much you smiled and how positive you felt about the future towards after 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, and so forth, you'll find that your mind will totally change perspective. It will shift. So remember where you were and where you are now and what got you to where you are now. This is important. If you know yourself, you know the causes of who you are, you can change. You can grow faster, you can release things, you can get to where you want to go. Okay, now the next one we're going to look at is people. Now, I touched on this before. I want you to write a list of all the people around you that your heart is open to, and then write down how supportive they are of your spiritual work. And this is important because people who are a hindrance to your spiritual path and who generate resistance for you to move forward, you have to be less open to these people, or cut them out of your life completely if they don't hold a high amount of value. So this is important. You want to be more open to people who encourage your growth rate and more closed to people who don't. And if you are open to people who have negativity about your spiritual path, well, that negativity is going to cause doubt in your mind and they're going to hinder your development. So list each person you know that you're open to and you care for and what effect they're having on your spiritual path. Okay, so we might leave this here. We could do a few dozen more aspects, but as a foundation, I think what we've covered is substantial. And if you take notes on all those aspects I've just mentioned, you're going to find that you're going to get a substantial growth rate increase in what you're doing. Thanks for your time, and see you on the next